We're very pleased today to have with us another of our authors that will be with us at Alabama Bound at the Downtown Library on April the 14th, beginning at 10 a.m. We have Mr. Rubin Grant, who is the author of Tales from Alabama Prep Football. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Grant.
Sure, I'm glad to be here.
Could you tell us a little bit about what prompted this project?
Well, my co-author and I, Ron Ingram, who's a longtime sports writer and covered high schools for many years, well, we've been good friends for a number of years, and we wanted to do a project together. So when Sports Publishing called us about doing a book about high school football in Alabama, we thought this was just a good opportunity for the two of us to get together and work on something like this together. It was a lot of fun working with Ron on this project.
How far does this book take us back looking at prep football in Alabama?
Well, we wanted the book to be somewhat historical because there's never been anything done like it in the history of the state. So I tell everybody that it goes back to 1914 because that was the year that Gunnersville and Albertville started playing each other in football, and that is the longest continuous rivalry in the history of the state. So those two schools have been playing each other since 1914. So that's why I tell them that's how far it goes back, because we got a chapter in there just about some of the great rivalries in the history of the state in high school football.
Well, how far forward into the future do you go?
Well, it looks, it comes up into the current time, actually. I would say through 2005, because that was the year Hoover won another state championship, which was like their fourth in a row, which has never been done among the big schools, and that's in our chapter on dynasty. So coming right up to 2005 when Hoover won the state championship that year, and also Homewood won their fourth state championship in 6 years at that time. So we come up to that time period, so it's right up to right now. It covers everything except for the 2006 season.
Well, what makes this book so special?
What makes it special is it's got a lot of rich history in there about some of the great football players who come out of the state before they even become famous. You know, a guy like Bo Jackson, you know, Heisman Trophy winner, and then the other Heisman Trophy winner from Auburn with Pat Sullivan, and he was, people might not know it, but he's a three-sport standout in football, in baseball, and also in basketball. Then he went down to Auburn and won the Heisman Trophy. But it's Kenny Stabler. Everybody recognizes that name since he's now one of the broadcasters of Alabama football from down there. And then there's a guy like the two guys I'm thinking, Willie Mays and Hank Aaron. People don't realize it, but they were both football players long before they became great home run hitters in Major League Baseball. Hank Aaron was an all-city guard in football down in Mobile, and Willie Mays played quarterback in high school, and then he decided, his 15-year-old quarterback, sophomore in high school, he decided to give up football and just play baseball, and then that's when he signed with the Birmingham Black Barons. But there are guys in there like Vince Dooley, who won a national championship at Georgia as a coach, but he played down in Mobile at McGill-Tulane High School. And like Bobby Bowden, he's right here from Birmingham, and from Woodlawn High School, and he's the all-time winningest coach in college football at Florida State now. So it's just so many stories in there about those people. And the good thing about it is it's not a book that you have to read from cover to cover. You can just open it up and read a good story. And that's what it's all about, just some of the great stories about coaches, players, games, and rivalries and dynasties in our state.
Well, the book sounds like it could be, any part of it could be your favorite. But what's your favorite part of the book?
My favorite part of the book is the chapter on families. We got a chapter there just on family connections, because it was really neat to go back and find out that here are people who dads and granddads played football. I guess my personal favorite is the story in there about the neighbor's family, because I was researching about one of the great dynasties, which is Tuscaloosa High School from the 1920s. You know, they went from 1925 to 1931 without losing a football game. They won 61 games and tied 3, but didn't lose any. They also went out of state 4 times and beat schools from out of state, so they claim they won a mythical national championship. Well, in researching for the families on the Neighbors family, I was talking to Billy Neighbors, who was an All-American at Alabama and played some in the AFL at that time, in the old AFL, and then when they merged with the NFL. Well, Billy's dad, called him Sid Neighbors, he played on that Tuscaloosa High School team back in the 1920s. And then Billy comes along, and he and his brother Sid Jr. played at Northport, and then at Tuscaloosa County High School. And later on, Billy has a son, Wes, and well, he has another son named Keith, but Wes was the big one. People don't realize that the year that Bo Jackson came out of high school, he was not ranked the #1 high school player in the state. It was Billy's son, Wes Neighbors, who was an offensive and defensive lineman, went on to be an All-American at Alabama in his own right. And Wes has a son now who plays football up in Huntsville at Huntsville High School. So just going back from the 1920s and bringing it all the way up to right now was very fascinating for me.
We're looking forward to being able to hear more about your book and be able to talk to you personally at Alabama Bound on the 14th of April. We want to thank you for being with us here today to give everybody a little preview of the wonderful book that you have and the information that's in it. We really appreciate you being here.
I'm looking forward to it as well.
Thank you.